Thank you so much for your invite, and thank you all for attending. And I hope that you come out of here feeling a little bit less stressed and you feel a little bit more normal, that this is really quite an interesting time for us to be here and alive. So I'm going to share my screen, and feel free to ask questions. We're going to also have time at the end for concentrated questions. So if there's something that you can't wait to talk, put it in the chat, and then we'll save some time at the end. Thank you so much for that gracious intro too. That I was like, did I do all that? Is that me? So that was kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here so that we can get started. All right. Okay, so today's talk is called Stress, Survival, and Self-Care. And so we're going to cover all those things. It's going to be a lot in one time period, but we can do it. So the promise for today was kind of large. We kind of had a promise that we were going to cover the unconscious autonomic nervous systems that help keep us safe. We were going to talk about mirror neurons. We were going to talk about predictive coding. And we're going to basically talk about a system that's 80,000 years old. And this system is super important for us to understand, because a lot of people have been really kind of brutal with themselves, kind of being mean, like, why am I so stressed out? Why am I not doing well in classes? Why am I so frustrated? So I hope that as we learn about this 80,000-year-old system, that we can be a lot less judgmental towards ourselves, and notice that these systems are in place to help us keep safe. So it's not malfunctioning. We're not broken. We're not all depressed, but we are all stressed. And so that's for sure. And then the second half of the talk, we're going to get into real hands-on nitty gritty. What do I do, Jenny? What do I do? So I understand this 80,000-year-old scanner. Now what do I do? So that's where we're going today. So first of all, let's just acknowledge where we are. We are trying to survive in a pandemic, and there is fear and confusion and economic and political and social unrest, even at the university, and then in the world too. So this fear keeps building, and there's all these layers of uncertainty, and we can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we're kind of hopeful, like there's going to be this vaccine, but like, when is it going to happen? And so it's just like unknown, 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 unknown. And we're going to talk about why that is so important in just a few seconds. So I just want to say off the bat, if you don't watch anything else, just know you're doing a great job, and your only job is not to die. So you're doing it. Like, you are doing a great job. And if other things fall by the wayside and you don't have a perfect waistline, or you ate a whole bag of cookies, you're all right. Just give yourself credit. And so I hope at the end of this talk, we can maybe learn not to suffer as well, right? Because it's hard. It's hard to be alive right now. And by the way, I love this dog. I don't know if you can see the dog picture. Whoops, I just moved off the dog picture here, but he's just so tired. He's so tired. That's where we are. We're just so tired. So we're going to talk in part A about our stress reaction, what's actually happening to us when we're stressed out. We're going to learn about the predicting brain and mirror neurons in the autonomic nervous system. We're also going to talk about the stress response system. And then we're going to go into part B, what do we do about it? So that's where we're going. Yay! Whoop, whoop. Okay, so first of all, I want to say stress is 100% normal right now. It's just normal. So don't beat yourself up. Don't get upset. If you cry easy, if you get irritated, if you sleep too much, if you can't fall asleep, if you have panic attacks, if your brain is fuzzy, if you feel unmotivated, if you're quick to get upset or cry, if you feel exhausted, if you feel powerless, if you feel dizzy, if you feel nauseous, if your belly's all messed up, if you feel numb, if you want to run away, all of these things are 100% normal. This is stress. This is what's happening. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're not having a breakdown. It's just too much. That's what's happening. So all of this is happening with the pandemic and the events of 2020. And we are basically our worst selves right now. And I'm going to prove that to you in about a few minutes. So we need to have deep compassion for ourselves, deep love for ourselves and for other people. I was driving around the other day, and people are terrible drivers right now, like terrible. And so we've got to be really kind, because people are not their brain is not on. So just notice what's happening and take care of yourself. Take a break, ask for help, and get outside. Go be in nature. The weather is finally nice enough that we can go for a little walk. And so please do that. This is what I hear every day from every student and every staff member at the university. Why do I feel so bad? I guess I'm depressed. That's what everybody always says. I guess I'm depressed. And I cannot motivate myself to do anything. Like I cannot push myself to care about this project. So that's what I'm hearing all day long. So I want to normalize that for you. That is what people are saying. And so I don't have to define what stress is for you, but I wanted to do it anyway, just in case, because I wanted to highlight for you that stress looks like a lot of things. It looks like restlessness, impulsivity, hyperfocus, anxiety, depression, fear of failure, guilt, attention-seeking behaviors, exhaustion, fuzzy brain, helplessness, power struggles, headaches, belly pain, dizziness, being late to class, not turning in assignments, not returning messages, anger, ghosting out, disappearing. So if you're doing any of these things, kind of notice, like, how am I dealing with my stress? And if it looks like anything on this list, great. You might even have ones that aren't even on that list. So remember that there are emotional, mental, and behavioral and physical responses to stress. Like a lot of times our stress exists in our belly. So if you're having indigestion or your belly isn't working all that great, or you're having headaches, all of that physical response, that's stress. So any emotion or behavior could be a stress response. The other thing is, because we're so shut down, what happens when we have too much stress is we shut down, and we're going to talk about that. We want to feel alive. We don't like feeling numb. We want out of that. And so we're trying to feel alive. We're trying to gain control. We want some safety in our worlds by like getting control. So if you're being impulsive or you're like, why did I do that? Why did I say that? It's okay. You're just trying to feel alive. So folks may not be able to acknowledge that they're stressed out, right? Like a lot of times I'll talk to people and they're like, no, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm fine. And that might be due to culture, or maybe you feel like you're a perfectionist and you can't admit that it's stressful, or maybe you're in denial. But I promise you, if you talk to your best friend, they'll tell you you're stressed out, because we all are. Okay, so let's go into the predicting brain, the mirror neurons, and the autonomic nervous system. This is going to be super fast. Those of you who are brain people, you're probably going to need to distract yourself, because you're going to say, Jenny, you are making this so overly simplistic. And you are correct, I am. But I think it's really important to take these complex ideas and make them as simple as we can, so that it makes sense as to why we're behaving the way we are. So I want to give you a story. If I saw you walk into your kitchen and you came out carrying a sandwich, I would be like, okay, great. Of course, food exists in the kitchen. You are carrying a sandwich out. If you go into your kitchen and you are carrying a tool, you're like carrying like a sander or something, I would be like, I wonder if there are tools in the kitchen. And my brain would have to like regulate, try to figure out, is there a toolbox in the kitchen? So this is the job of our brain. Our job is constantly predicting and trying to kind of code it and figure it out. Sandwich, okay, I got that. Tool, If you go into the kitchen and you carry out a baby bear, I'm going to be very concerned, because I'm going to say, where did the bear come from? By the way, that's a picture of a bear in the kitchen. So if you come out of the kitchen and you're carrying a bear, my brain is going to freak out. It's going to be like, wait, I didn't predict that. There's no way that there would be a bear in the kitchen. Why is this person carrying out a bear? So our brain works like this. This is absolutely what our brain does. And this is really great research. It's coming out of Oxford. And I met Mark Miller this summer, actually in September, and we had a big, long talk about this predictor brain. And basically what it's doing is it's trying to predict the future. And it's really important that the brain gets the future right. Because if the brain messes up and the brain does not predict correctly, it could mean life or death. So if we go into like a watering hole and we estimate wrong and there's a predator at the watering hole and we get killed, that's not a good prediction, right? So our predictor has to be really correct. So the function of our brain is to predict the future. We predict the future before we see it. So that's why if I see you coming out of the kitchen with a sandwich, I'm calm. I'm like, okay, I got this. But you coming out with a bear, that's going to freak me out. So prediction errors are really taken seriously by the system. So think about what's happening in 2020. What have you been able to predict? Like what? Like you have not been able to predict anything because 2020 has been a series of weirdnesses, right? That we could not see. We didn't know that this was going to happen. And so basically we've had too many errors. And so what's happening in all of our brains we are shutting down. And we are down regulating. And this is a system that is not in our frontal lobe. We are not in control. This is not something that we're aware is happening. But what happens is after we experience so many prediction errors, we actually down regulate, which kind of feels like depression. So when most people are saying, I guess I'm kind of depressed, you're probably not depressed. Your brain is probably down regulating to protect you. And when we are down regulating, we kind of feel numb and we don't really feel alive. And the reason why we don't feel alive is because we're used to kind of interacting with our system. We make a prediction, we interact, we kind of like recalibrate, and then we go on with life. When you're not doing that, you feel numb. And so if anyone kind of is feeling like, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of depressed, you probably aren't. You're probably just down regulated. And a lot of us are in this space. So I'm just going to say that for real. Okay, in addition to that, in 2004, they discovered a specialized type of neuron in the brain called a mirror neuron. And the mirror neurons are a really special class because they fire when we are having a direct experience, whether that be joy, pain, sadness, whatever, suffering. If we are experiencing that directly, or if we witness somebody experiencing that. So if I'm watching TV and I see a little kid crying, or I'm watching Black Lives Matter protest and I see all this passion and I feel all this compassion, I'm going to have the same reaction in my brain as if I was there at the protest. And so these mirror neurons, again, fire. This is outside of our frontal lobe. We have no control of this. These mirror neurons are firing with or without our permission. So if you're watching pain, you're going to experience pain. If you're watching joy, you're going to experience joy. And that's why when people are having trouble grieving, like let's say they lost a loved one and they're saying, I don't think I can cry. I always say, watch a sad movie because then you'll cry. And the reason why we cry is because our mirror neurons. So I really like this meme because it's a Michael Jackson song. I'm starting with the neurons in the mirror. I'm asking them to change their ways. It cracks me up. Anyway, if I can visualize what you are saying, then I will feel what you are feeling. And this happens online. So in a Zoom call, in a class, with our friends, if we talk to people on the phone, we are experiencing the same thing that they are experiencing, even online. So I hope this kind of explains why we're all kind of feeling down, right? I mean, what if you walk into Walgreens? Everybody's kind of freaking out, right? And you're standing in line and everybody's got their masks and everybody's fearful and we're kind of watching all this. So we are bound to have that same fear response that everybody else is feeling. So I'm just going to say that for the record. And this is a survival tool that is happening outside of our awareness. So in addition to us feeling what other people are feeling, we are social creatures. We're designed to connect and interact with each other. So our autonomic nervous systems are syncing up. So not only do we have a predictor brain, but we have these mirror neurons, and then we have this autonomic nervous system that's syncing up like system to system. And so this system creates resonance and coherence and synchrony and entrainment. And we scan and we regulate each other all the time. We assess and we want to make sure, is this person out to get me or are they my friend? So can you imagine how we're all responding to each other with masks? Our autonomic nervous system doesn't really know what to do with that. We're like, is this scary? Is this safe? We are designed to scan and sync up. This is an 80,000-year-old system, and we do it in 3 seconds. So when we meet a new person, we scan them in 3 seconds, even online. And research has shown that our hearts beat at the same rate in a theater. So when we're all sitting watching a show, our heartbeats are all beating at the same time. When we're in a restaurant, we're chewing at the same speed. Our female systems sync up and regulate together when we live with people or when we work closely with each other. And so 2 people scan and entrain, it intermingles, the energy intermingles until we sync up. And one might be higher and one might be lower, and we kind of regulate each other. And so when you hold a calm space for yourself in meditation, or you take a break, or you go for a walk, you're teaching your nervous system how to calm down, especially if you've been in kind of a stressful situation or you've been around somebody who's stressful. If you live in a house where people are drinking, where there's alcoholism going on, or people are depressed, you may feel depression, but it's not yours. It's theirs. You're absorbing it through your autonomic nervous system. So this entrainment is very powerful, and again, completely subconscious. In addition to that, fear is contagious. We have 50 years of robust, large-scale quantitative data that says that emotional contagion spreads through a social system. Not only does it affect your friends and your loved one, it affects 2 layers of relationships outside of you. Like, this is real. This is like real research. So this isn't like woo, new age. Like, 2 people outside of your immediate connection are catching that fear. And so if you're relating to somebody who has high anxiety, or you're talking to somebody who's really stressed out, it's hard because you're going to catch that. So if we feel like we're in a lower vibration, we may feel like we're sad, or we may feel like we're depressed, but actually we could just be living with somebody who is depressed, or we could be spending a large amount of time with somebody who's an alcoholic, who has anxiety, or basically who's been in their house for 8 months, sheltering in place, right? None of us are really our best selves, but we're really syncing up right now. We're syncing up to each other right now. So when your day is over, I want you to ask yourself, is my brain down regulating because I couldn't predict? Do I feel sad because I could visualize someone else's pain? And do I feel like I'm maybe entraining too much with someone else's sadness? Do I feel like I'm picking up all of that? Did I watch too much social media and did I catch the fear? What is mine? What's somebody else's? What is this emotion? What reason do I have to feel this way? Can I go into my kitchen and make pizza and make myself feel happy? You know, can I turn on a song and dance and get out of this mood? And so the note is that 75% of your emotional day is not even yours. 75%. It's your peers, it's your friends, it's your family, it's politics, it's social media. So just imagine how much we're absorbing at the grocery store. Especially like if somebody is at the grocery store and they can't find something that they need, or they're going the wrong way with the arrow and our heart is all beating together. I mean, imagine just how much we're absorbing chaos. So in addition to these subconscious unknown processes that are going on, we also have a stress response system. So if we have trauma in our background, let's say, we are also being triggered. So we have 3 different systems that are in play that are our stress response system. We have McLean's triune brain, which has been highly disputed, but the way that I'm going to talk about it today is in terms of brain function, and I don't think that part has been disputed. We also have a sympathetic nervous system that's kind of hijacking us, and we also have the amygdala. So we're going to talk about those again super fast. I apologize. We're going to speed through this part because we want to get to Jenny. What do I do? So in the triune brain, we basically have 3 different parts of our brain. We have the reptile brain, which is in the back where our neck connects to our head. There's kind of a dent, if you feel, in the back of your head where your neck connects. There's kind of a dent right there. That's our oldest reptilian part. And the function of that brain is survival. And that is not in dispute. And so at this oldest brain, this physical level, we are looking for food, shelter, and survival. If we are operating out of this brain, we use words like Armageddon, apocalypse, my freedoms are being violated, I'm in confinement, I feel like I'm being locked down. Our words are sort of that fear survival words. We're on the lookout for danger. We are in action reaction, we're threatened. In the mammalian brain, which is kind of the middle brain, we float in between all three of these all the time. In the mammalian brain, it's a lot of emotion. So it's memory and emotion, and we cry a lot, and we use words like, oh, I want to shelter in place, and this is the pandemic, and I wish I could show kindness and care for my neighbor, and oh, those poor firefighters. And at this point, we kind of look for solutions to kind of keep ourselves safe. We kind of say, oh, I should be helping. And then the last place is the neocortex. That's right here in the front. And this particular brain turns on when we're doing math and science and personal projects and creativity. And this is the part of the brain that says, oh, maybe I should write my memoirs or learn Korean, or maybe I need to do some puzzles. And so this part of our brain is the thinking part. And this part is not formed until we're about 26. There is no connection between this frontal part and our reptile brain. There's no connector, and it's done that way on purpose. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But basically what you need to know is we float in between all three of these brains. And I think some people that are driving in Tucson right now are in their reptile brain. They're in fear. They are gripping the steering wheel. They are threatened all the time. And that is not a good way to be driving. So I think that when you kind of are flipping out, kind of ask yourself, am I in the reptile brain right now? Am I in the mammalian brain where I'm flooding with emotions, or am I in this frontal lobe? There is no hack. We can't move from part to part, but we can soothe the nervous system. And so that's what we're going to talk about next. So the autonomic nervous system has two pieces, basically. One is sympathetic. That's us in fight, flight, freeze. That's how we're running all day long. We're taking tests. We're dropping the kids off. We're doing this. We're doing that. There's so much stress and tension. This is fight, flight, freeze, get out. Parasympathetic is us floating in a pool. This is us sleeping. This is us doing meditation. And we need to be more in that parasympathetic state and less in the sympathetic state. So as we are moving through these three parts of the brain, one is emotional, one's fear-based, one's more intellectual. We also have this nervous system that kicks in. And so very often we are not actually thinking. Our autonomic systems kick in and we are being controlled by our fear. In fact, when we start thinking about a problem, when people start thinking, maybe I should go see Jenny for counseling, they are in fight, flight, freeze, just thinking about coming to see me. So this all starts with the reptile brain. And what happens is the reptile brain says, you are in danger. And then the amygdala kicks in. And then guess what? This whole part of your brain, the whole frontal lobe, it goes offline. And you are not even thinking. And the reason why it does this is because if you saw in nature a snake, the brain's job is to get you away from that snake as fast as possible. You will not stop and analyze and say, is this a stick or a snake? Your brain is designed to get you out. So what it does is it shuts off all non-vital pieces. Like thinking is not important right now. Getting out of danger is what's important. And so that's what happens in us as well. Fear controls us. So when we're triggered, I had a person at Walgreens the other day cough on me, like purposely like cough on me. And so I got a little triggered by that. So when that happens, our amygdala's job is to shut down that frontal lobe, boop. And so then we're not thinking, we're just getting out, we're trying to escape. A snake is a snake, get out of there. A lion chasing us feels the exact same as a bad grade or a flat tire. And basically our brain is not designed to think. So if you're like, how come I can't think right now? It's because your frontal lobe's offline. We disassociate so we don't feel the pain. We check out so that our reptile brain can get us out of danger. So keep that in mind. You could be being triggered. So here's kind of the last summary slide. And then I promise we're getting into what do I do? So there is a subconscious process that is happening underneath our knowledge. We are absorbing and reacting to other people's pain. We have a predicting brain that's being downregulated. There are mirror neurons that are absorbing each other's pain and stress. We have an autonomic nervous system that is trying to sync up to others and trying to be one and connect with others. And it's probably meeting a lot of fear. We have McLean's triune brain, which like we're being flooded emotionally or reptilian wise. We have a sympathetic nervous system that's being triggered all the time. And we have amygdala that's like, you're in danger. So we could be down regulating. We could be experiencing what other people are experiencing. Our system is so sensitive that we sync up with other people's moods, breathing, heart rate, moon cycles, chewing. We absorb all of that stress from others. We are reacting to danger right now. We are being triggered. And so I hope you feel a lot of compassion that you should have foggy brain. It's okay that you're not motivated. School is probably not the priority right now because your brain is saying, I'm in danger. I'm sorry about all these white slides because I'm noticing it's making my face super white. So I just have to say that. So just take a few seconds and write down what is your biggest stress and what do you look like as your worst self? Do you get sleepy? Do you eat? Do you overshop? What do you do? So take a few seconds and write it down for yourself because we can't change anything until we define it. So just take a few seconds and I'm going to look at the chat while you're writing. So take a few seconds to just say, what is my worst self right now? And if you can't figure it out, ask your best friend or ask somebody who you live with or ask somebody that you love because they will tell you. They're like, oh, this is exactly what you look like when you are your worst self. This is what you look like. Okay, so I don't know if anyone wants to share, but I would love it if somebody shared and put in the chat, who are you when you're your worst self? What are you doing? And by the way, we're all doing something. So are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you shopping? What are you doing? What is your worst self? Put it in the chat. We'll all be like, oh yeah, I do that too. I've been doing a lot of Amazoning, overeating. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thank you for being so brave. Snapping at my husband. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Eating, staying in bed. Yep. All these things are real. Yeah, I see you. That is normal. All right, great. Thank you for being so brave and sharing your worst self. Okay, so now that we know what we look like as our worst self, let's move into what do we do about it? So now what do I do? Okay, so I know what I do when I'm my worst self, but what do I do? The first thing is we acknowledge it. We don't try to run. We don't try to hide. We just say, I am not doing well right now. I'm struggling. I'm not very happy. I am grumpy. And maybe we need to be the parent to our own selves. Maybe we need to nurture our own selves. Emotions are kind of like weather, like they will pass, but we need to acknowledge them. We cannot be in denial and put our hand up and be like, I don't have time for this. I have a massive test. I've got to focus. We've got to just be like, hey, I'm sad. I'm just going to be sad for a few minutes. We need to be honest. We need to tell people, and then we need to nourish ourselves. We have an inner pharmacy that has neurotransmitters that we can build up. We don't need to have drugs to do that. We can do this ourselves. And we can feel good and activate our natural dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. And how we do this is we put things in our life that bring in pleasure. So if you engage in your creativity, if you engage in your pleasure, you will move to your frontal lobe. Gardening, singing, art, playing, laughing, moving. You probably have something that you love that maybe you haven't done in a long time. Tinkering around with I don't know, a CB, whatever it is that makes you super happy. You're building a ship in a bottle, whatever it is. If we can move into that high pleasure creativity place, that's our only hack. That's our way to kind of get out of that reptile brain, get out of that nervous system screaming, you are in danger. And we can kind of get lost for a little while. I was scanning in photo albums and I just got lost. Like I was totally in Austin and my old memories, and I was feeling the love. And so we can do that. We can kind of move into a frontal lobe place and nourish ourselves. I will say, however, let me take a drink of water before I choke. I will say, however, if you're unable to calm down, if for whatever reason you cannot soothe the reptile brain, then you're not going to function. And so I will say this for the record, you have to stop. Like if you're freaking out and panicking, like you're having kind of a panic moment, you could be having a full panic attack. We have to stop that system. And we can't do it by like being mean to ourselves or talking to ourselves. It doesn't really work that way. We have to kind of soothe all of those systems that I was talking about. And so the best 3 ways that I know how to do it is to sleep. So to take a nap, even if you set your alarm for 15 minutes, that will reset your nervous system. That's the number 1 way. We probably all are sleep deprived, so that's probably a good call. And floating in a pool, that's another one. If you can float in a body of water, you are winning. So you may have access to the rec center, you may not. But if you can float in a pool, you are golden. You are resetting your nervous system. Again, the whole job is not to just do a spa day. The job is that we soothe this kind of unconscious process that's going on. So floating in a pool is really great, because what stressed out animal have you ever seen floating in a pool? Like, they don't. So floating in a pool resets you. And then if all else fails, and a lot of students that I know have been doing that this semester, you take a big bowl, you get a big bowl out of the kitchen and you fill it full of ice water, and you dunk your face in it. And you hold your face underwater for like 5 or 6 seconds, and then you come up. And then you dunk your face for 5 or 6 seconds, and then you come up. And you do this like 5 or 6 times. And again, it will reset your nervous system. And if you say, Jenny, why is this happening? I will tell you, it is because it stimulates your diver response. Your body thinks it's diving underwater. And if you're panicking and freaking out, you can't do that when you're diving. And so your body has to instantly reset. So these are kind of hacks, if you will, of kind of how to soothe that reptile brain. You've got to kind of get still. So these are great things to do right before a test or a big job interview, when we're kind of stressing out. Okay, whoops, I moved too fast. Sorry about that. Also, I want you to notice what's happening. If you're shutting down, you're going to have kind of a different response than if you're overstimulated. So I'm overstimulated. As you can see, I'm pretty hyper and I've got a lot of energy. So I went and got a big blue headlamp, and I go out in the desert and I look for scorpions at night when I'm like, should be sleeping. I'm out walking around with like a blue headlight looking for scorpions. So if you're an overstimulated type, that's fine. Just know that that's you. So if you're shutting down and you're down regulating and you're done predicting for the day, then you may need to force pleasure. You need to force something that is going to bring in intense joy. So you want to activate those neurotransmitters. You want to find the things that excite you and bring you joy. And if you're overstimulated like I am, then you want to limit screen time, stop being on social media, stop at 5 o'clock. Do not do it into your night. That is too much. Go on a walk. You got to get out that energy, right? Because you're all like, ee. So you got to walk and get that out. Maybe go into nature. Maybe you use water, taking a shower, taking a bath. I wash my feet a couple times a day. I know that's kind of weird, but it kind of grounds me. And if I've had kind of a rough client session, I wash my feet. So again, water is kind of a way to kind of soothe you and ground you and kind of put you back down on earth a little bit. Another way that we can stop the adrenaline flood is to do breathing. And a lot of us, kind of aren't meditators, so we don't really have a practice, but this is like a really easy way to do it. If you can close your eyes, you're not meditating, but you're kind of closing out all that stimulation. The main thing in a breathing exercise, you want to make the exhale longer. You want to make the exhale as long as you can. So my very favorite one is a 4-2-7 breath. So basically you breathe in for 4, you hold for 2, and you breathe out for 7. That's my favorite one. Let's just do it because it'll feel good. So we're just going to breathe in for 4, hold for 2, breathe out for 7. Okay, so I'll count. Here we go. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2 and let it go for 7. Okay, so that one's good. And if you do that like 5 to 7 times, again, you're kind of stopping the flood and you're soothing your nervous system. That's the goal. If you can't close your eyes, it's okay. Don't close your eyes. I really like this activity. I've been doing this a lot this semester. The students are really enjoying this. So I hope you do too. It's new to me. It was designed by a woman named Tree Franklin. And I think it's a really good exercise to kind of get rid of big, overwhelming emotions. So let's think about an emotion that we've had recently. Maybe it was today. Maybe you thought you bombed a test. So start with the emotion that you're experiencing right now. Like I'm going to use anger because it's on this slide. I am angry. So what you do is you say it like 5 times. I am angry. I am angry. I am angry. And then the next step is you move it into I feel anger. So now I'm not angry. I'm just feeling anger. So now I say, I feel anger. I feel anger. I feel anger. I can already feel myself softening by doing that. Then the next step is I take a step back and I say, I feel energy. And that makes me feel super bouncy. So I say, I feel energy. I feel energy. I feel energy. And I say that like 5 times. And then the last one is I feel. So basically I'm moving from I am anger to like I feel anger to I feel energy to I feel. So please try this one and send me an email. Let me know if you like it. Some students that I've given this to, they've really enjoyed it. And it seems really good when that energy is really intense and you feel something very intensely like betrayal or sadness. This is a really good one. And again, we don't want to bypass your feelings. We don't want you to say, oh, I'm not feeling like this. I'm fine. I really want you to feel it, but I kind of want you to take the edge off and move it into a different kind of state. Okay. This is my very favorite one. It's something that I've taught in a lot of different places. I want to check the chat here. Just to make sure. Okay, so this is my favorite one. It's called nostril awareness. I've taught it many times. I love it. It's my very favorite one. And basically in our head, all of our organs are changing dominance every 90 minutes. So like our systems are kind of refreshing all the time. And so every 90 minutes, our nostrils change dominance. So what that means is every 90 minutes, one of our nostrils, one of our nose holes is breathing in more air than the other nose hole. So take a few seconds and figure out for yourself which nose hole right now is breathing in the most amount of air. You can feel it kind of right here where your glasses sit. Mine's my left side right now. Where's yours? Where are you feeling the most amount of air coming in?
Jenny, should we be doing like a big breath or just normal breathing?
Just normal. Like you want to look really normal. Like you could be doing this at a meeting and nobody would even know that you were doing it, but you were focusing on your nose holes. Not that I've ever done that in a meeting. But yeah, so take a few seconds to figure out which one of your nose holes is breathing in the most amount of air. Okay, good. Perfect. I see it. Okay, so now this is the tricky part of this exercise. Now flip it and make the other side breathe in more. Again, you're not opening your mouth. You're not doing anything. Make the other nose hole breathe in more air. This is really good for kids, by the way, if you have them. They like this exercise. That's a little trickier. So just take a few seconds and make the other one open more to breathe in more air without using your fingers or anything like that. So this activity seems very, very simple, but it's doing something really magical. Your mouth is closed. Your monkey mind is quiet. The thoughts are not going, you are not flooding, and you're doing deep breathing and you don't even know you're doing deep breathing. And basically you're focusing on your nose hole. So I have done this activity in tests at the DMV when I'm sitting in traffic, ready to go road rage on someone. Like, this is a very good activity when you have kind of lost your marbles. This is a good one to do because, right, it's easy and you're just sitting there focusing on your nose. This one is another really good one. I like this when you're having panicky, attacky kind of moments, or you're feeling super angry or super charged. Basically, you get up and you walk and you count forms. A form is a shape of any kind. This coffee cup is a form. My glasses are a form. This mouse is a form. Whoops, and I went through all the things. So a shape is any kind of form, and you just walk and you count them until you get to about 60. You should feel pretty calm. So this won't work if you're just walking and counting. If you're just like 1, 2, 3, it won't work. But if you take a few seconds, see the shape and actually count it, you're going to feel a lot better. And basically, if you start panicking again or the anger comes back, just get up and walk and count again. Now, those of you who have had panic attacks, you know that the room gets kind of small and everything feels like it's coming in on top of you. And so you really do have to force yourself to get up and walk. And you don't want to, but you have to make yourself get up and walk. Same thing if you're really angry and you're kind of, you know, just stewing and stewing and stewing. Get up. Get up. Movement helps. Get up and walk and count shapes. Kids, again, love this exercise. It takes you about a minute. We've got a minute. We've got a minute to calm down. If you're in a meeting and somebody's making you really angry, excuse yourself. Go to the bathroom and walk to the bathroom and count things. This works really well outside, but if you can't be outside, that's okay. I used to do this in St. Mary's Psych Unit, and we only had the hospital. We couldn't leave, so this worked just fine. Other 3-minute practices involve yoga or walking meditation, progressive muscle relaxation. That's one of my favorite. Like, you go through your whole body and you clench all of your muscles super tight, and then you let them go. Tight, 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 and then you let them go. And so when you say to yourself, calm down, gosh, my shoulders are so tight. When you say that, when you say calm down or relax, your body actually does the exact opposite. So in order to really relax, it's better if you kind of exaggerate the stress. So if your shoulders are all tight, make them even tighter, like squish them way up to your ears, like squish them and then let them go. If you get up in the middle of the night and you're stressing out and you're freaking out, take out a piece of paper and write people thank you notes. That is a really easy way to drop from our head to our heart. It doesn't increase your heart rate. It doesn't get you going, and then you'll probably be able to go back to sleep. So take a piece of paper and write thank you notes. That's a really, really great way. Prayer is another great way if you have a prayer practice or something like that. Music is really good. Humming is really good. I hum all the time, 24 hours a day. Music is singing. It increases the antibodies in our body. This is, again, not new agey. This is actually real. We actually increase our antibodies by humming. The easiest way is to get an app on your phone and you type in guided visualization, and there's a million of them. They take you in a meadow, they have you walk around and you see the birds and you smell the air, and some people's voices are super annoying, so you won't use those. But there's a whole bunch of free apps. There's Calm, Insight Timer, they're free. The Chopra app for the iPhone, the mindfulness app, Buddhify, Smiling Mind, walking meditation, Simply Being, Headspace. The new one that I found this year is called Liberate Meditation. And I found that for Thrive, and it's designed for people of color by people of color. And there's even a meditation on there about microaggressions. And so that one's kind of an interesting one that I found this year that you might want to check out. Again, they're free. And it's a person's voice, and they're taking you kind of on a little guided journey, and they can last 5 minutes or 30 minutes. You could YouTube it too and find them. That's the easiest kind of cheating way, if you will. Yeah, I love that. Okay, good. Thank you so much for putting that in. All right. So I'm going to try to wrap up here so we have time to answer questions. Fundamentally, everything that I've talked about is kind of soothing the nervous system in the moment because we're so stressed out. But what we really want to do is build a solid foundation so that we can kind of weather the storm, so that every time that we read the news, we don't get knocked off of our foundation. And so we really need to figure out a better way to kind of make sure that we stay strong. And so I know you've heard this a million times. You need to start with the basics. Sleep, shower. A lot of people are not showering. Sleep, shower, stay with your routine, sort, figure out a person, a loved one, a journal, a best friend, a therapist. Go talk to somebody, because our world is nuts and everything that's happening is like mind blowing. So figure out a way to sort. These basic things create a foundation so that you can be a little bit stronger when the next weird social media thing happens. The other thing that I would say is if you build your stress all day long, you're like stressed, and then a meeting, and then another and then a thing, and then a la. You're so stressed out that by the time you get done with your day, you're drinking a bottle of wine because you're like, I got to crash out. So this is a real thing. So basically what we need to do is we need to kind of stop the stress build. So we get stressed, and then we take a 3-minute break. And then we get stressed, and then we do a guided visualization. And then we get stressed, and then we take a walk. So it's like we kind of have to build in these little baby breaks. Maybe you put them in your calendar, or you put like a announcement on your phone, so that like every 3 hours you're kind of stopping and taking a break. And that actually will help you significantly be less stressed. The other thing is we need a boundary between school and life. We need to turn off the computer, off. I know people who are doing emails at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not me, but other people are. So we need a total hard stop. We need breaks. We need to go walk or change clothes or turn off our computer. We need a clear cut thing. And we need to do this throughout the day. We need to take a lunch break. We need to walk away from the computer. We need to not be eating our pizza while we're checking email. No. We also need to be careful with like sneaky things, like when our family's like, how was your day? Because then you're just going to launch into how terrible your day is. And then you're going to be back in your day. So you need to cut the cord, cut it. So set your boundaries so that we're letting go of the day. So I was going to ask you to put in the chat, how do you break up your day? But we don't have time to do that. So write yourself a note. How are you breaking up your day? Changing clothes, doing yoga, taking a shower, taking a walk. What are you doing? And then you want to do the same thing every day. You want a 15-minute practice. That's it. You don't need like a long, big, extended moment. You just need a little bit of time where every single day you kind of have a practice, whether that's starting the day, ending the day. You need like a little thing that says, okay, I'm doing good self-care right here. We cannot effectively help others if we have nothing to give. So we have to care for ourselves every day. We're it. So you have the right to a listening ear, the right to your own quiet time, the right to do your favorite self-care activity. You need to make a list of all the things that you love that bring in great pleasure. And we need to put those in, because remember, this is a marathon. And then last but not least, spirituality is always a really great practice. Spirituality is not religion. It is basically the idea of coming home to something more sacred than this, more sacred than pandemic, more sacred than reptile brain. Maybe we need to go find our purpose, or listen to our true voice, or find our inner wisdom. Maybe we need to mentor ourselves, or we need to make a plan for the future, like plan a wedding or write a book. So again, those are always really good options. Okay. We made it through all the slides. I have 10 minutes, which I love. And so now I'm totally available to answer chat questions. So bring on the questions. What I would love is particularly questions about an exercise. Maybe something didn't make sense because I was going through it so fast. I'm going to put my email in the chat so that you all can send me an email if you are trying to do something in the middle of the day and then you're like, that didn't make any sense. What did Jenny say about that nostril breathing? So there's my chat, Jay Simon. And, you know, if, again, there's no real questions that are coming up right now, but you think of something later, please write it. Still trying to figure out how to switch my dominant nostril. Oh, I love that, Alice. Thank you for sharing. I think what I would say is the truth of the matter is it takes a little bit of time. And the good news about that is the whole time that you're trying to change nostrils, you're still getting that deep breathing. Your monkey mind is still quiet. And so even if you never do it, it's still a good exercise. And I think kids really try hard to do that. So it's a really good thing to do with kids. Is it really possible to change the nostril, or is it just self-distraction? No, it's really possible. You really actually can open up that nose hole and breathe more air out of that side. I am really hyperstimulated like you, and I'm very resistant to relaxation, and I know I need to do it, but I avoid it. Any tips on how to make myself relax over more busy work? I love it. Okay, so I'm super, hyper. And when I went to India to meditate, they were like, no, you cannot sit. Here's a broom. So they actually gave me activities to do. So I'm going to say, just embrace your hyperactivity. Just like love yourself for it. It's you. So basically what I have to do is a lot of active things. I do a lot of walking. I love the progressive muscle relaxation. It's my favorite. I start at my toes and I clench all the way up to my face, and then I let it go. Or I clench at my face and then I, clench all the way down to my feet, and then I let it go. So I do a lot of kind of active things. I do yoga. That's something that I love doing, and it's very meditative for me. I take a shower. I'm using my hands a lot. So embrace your hyperactivity. You're probably not going to be one that's sitting on a lotus cushion oming. That's okay. You don't have to be that person. That's okay. Just embrace it. Do something more active. Take a walk. But you do need to stop putting in busyness. Like you need to do something where you can take a breath and walk in nature and slow yourself down. Stacy said, I bet it can take up to 90 minutes. It doesn't take up to 90 minutes. You can switch your nose hole. Stacy, you're going to email me tomorrow and you're going to be like, I figured it out. I figured out how to switch my nose hole, and it did not take 90 minutes. Okay. What if stopping these floods only work temporarily and then you're back into the stressed out mode? I totally agree. That could absolutely happen. So I would try an activity like walking and counting forms, because you're going to walk, you're going to count the forms. And basically what you're telling your brain is, okay, we are not going to freak out right now. We're going to count. That's what you're telling your brain. And then you calm down. Then you come back in, you stress out, and then you walk and you count forms. And again, you're telling your brain, okay, we're counting right now. We're not freaking out. And then you come back and then you walk and count forms. The longest I've ever had somebody do that is maybe like 3 minutes. That's even like full out panic in a psych unit. So people end up generally feeling a lot better because your brain is kind of like, okay, you kind of shift out of it. Another way that you could use, if you really wanted to stop the flood, is you could stick your face in ice water. It really does kind of shock your nervous system, and it does kind of reset you. So it's highly unlikely that you would go back into that high level of stress like right away. It may take a little bit, but you are going to kind of reset your system by sticking your face in cold ice water. That actually would help. So any of those activities, like, again, you can repeat them. It's okay to walk and count forms a couple times. You're kind of telling your brain, hey, we're counting right now. And there is an act to counting, like counting actually does kind of soothe your brain because you can't worry and count at the same time. So yes, I love it. I find riding my bike helps, or cleaning. Absolutely. Those are great. Sitting and focusing on one body part at a time from top to bottom is very relaxing. Absolutely. Especially if you're squishing it up and making it all tense as it could be, and even tenser. My favorite one is my face. And then you just like let it go. Okay, I'm pacing outside right now. Well, that's probably because I'm talking super fast and I'm making you like nervous. So maybe you will not be pacing outside when this talk is done. And then how do you motivate yourself to go out and walk? I know that's the hardest part. So I do tricks. I actually bought myself new sneakers, which I love, my new Nikes that are sitting right by the front door. I kind of like psych myself up, like, you love these Nikes and the only time you're wearing them is when you go out and exercise. And then I also am tricking myself. I'm getting myself like a headlamp. I love my blue headlamp. It's kind of like a, it points out all the all the nocturnal things. And so I put my blue headlamp on, and it's right by my shoes, and it's right by the door. And it's kind of like, you can't put these on until you go out. Like, and it's this happy little treat waiting for me right by the door. So to motivate yourself to get up and walk, you kind of have to make it super pleasurable, right? If getting up and walk feels like a chore and you hate it and it's all painful, then you probably won't get up and walk. But if you make it super fun by putting in lots of pleasure, then you're going to like it more. Music motivates me to walk. Absolutely. I also want to go back to that question for just a few seconds. So I did a lot of research with students, kids who had kind of, they had brain damage. They had some brain stuff had happened in their brain. They had some traumatic brain injury, and they didn't have as many dendrites. They didn't have as much cellular density. Their brain was really different. And that was due to all sorts of things: fetal alcohol syndrome, traumatic brain injury. And so I was working with these kids, and they basically told me, like, these kids can't learn. Like, their brain is really stunted. And what I found is that that was absolutely wrong. They absolutely could learn. And the way that they learned is through adding pleasure into whatever we did. So they hated mealtime because mealtime, they always got yelled at and scolded, and it was this big problem. So one day I went to a Chinese restaurant, and I stole a bunch of chopsticks, and I made dinner. We all ate everything, all that whole meal with chopsticks. And instantly mealtime became much funner. One time we all wore our pajamas to mealtime. One time we all had orange foods, which there's a lot of orange foods, which include Cheetos and Gatorade. And so, you know, if you can put pleasure into something that feels like a chore, it's going to go a lot better. And I will say, with those kids that kind of had severe brain stuff going on, they all learned, and they all, had a great meal, and we all had fun because the pain was kind of taken out of it. We are really creatures that are motivated by pain and pleasure. And so if you can add pleasure into anything you're doing, like go for that, because that's really what the brain science shows. Like up the pleasure. I mean, I'm chocolate chip scones. That's like my go-to right now during the pandemic. Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining me today, and thank you all for taking an hour out of your time. And I hope you feel less stressed, and I hope you feel like more normal, and you feel kind of like, okay, I'm not losing my mind. So, and please email me if you have questions. I'd love to hear them.
Dr. Simon, the thanks are all ours. I really appreciate this fantastic presentation. It was informative, of course, but it was really practical too. I mean, the specific advice and strategies, as well as the science behind why we're all so white-knuckled, just incredibly helpful, a great perspective. And again, I love the strategies. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I hope everybody will take advantage of Dr. Simon's generous offer of availability. If she's an expert, counselor, and really clearly knows how to help. Thank you again so much.